For those who don't know me, I'm Anthony Lorenz. I've run a commercial estate agency in Hanover Square basically for 54 years, and I've lived and worked the commercial property market over that period of time, involving the 74, 84, 94 and Lehman's 2008 commercial property market crashes. In fact, in most of the last 5 decades, the 9s have been high and the 4s have been low. For the first time in my life, I don't have a crystal ball with regard to what's going to happen to the commercial property market, but I've been building up to the extent that I can't resist sharing my thoughts at the moment. We represent mainly office tenants and also the leisure industry in a very big way. And in March started negotiations between tenants and landlords, as the government actually suggested, to try and find solutions to an ever-changing world that we're in. Not only have we had the first wave of the virus, but it might be that that's just a tidal wave compared with the tsunami, and which is coming. And it certainly seems that the government is taking some very urgent measures, which would be unnecessary if they weren't equally worried that life's going to get even more difficult than it's been previously. And what we've got, and you've seen it on the national news, is that the bar, club and restaurant market is doomed, and I'll explain why in a second. And when you think that that market has lasted from March till September and now probably till next March without any income coming in, and they've got rent rates and service charges to pay, it's quite obvious that number one, most of them can't afford to pay it, and number two, worse still than that, business restructuring allows people to restructure businesses whereby they don't have to pay it if it's just going to be an uphill struggle getting the business going back again. But worse still is actually what's happening in the office market, because that actually fuels and funds the leisure market. And we've researched 8,000 companies recently, and we're just doing another 8,000 of over 25 people. And the horrifying result we get back is that over 60% of companies are going to have more than 30% of their workforce not returning to the office. And if you think that in Lehman's the market crashed, there were 3 rent reviews in Queensbury House, Burlington Street. They were June 08, September 08 and December 08, and Lehman's crashed on the 15th of September 08. And the rents were £102 a square foot, 78 and 68 respectively. That was a 32% fall in the office rental market, and there wasn't a massive amount of vacancy. And it's fairly obvious to me that if 30% of people are not in the office, whether they work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday one shift, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday the next, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday the next, that there's 30% less people in central London. And that means 30% of less people commuting, which is quite good for our already crowded undergrounds and trains and everything like that. But there's 30% less people who are going to go to bars, clubs and restaurants. And the bar, club and restaurant market has not only been faced by, and also the casino market, which we deal with, not only faced by closure over a period of 6 months where the roulette wheel has not been spinning, so no income can come in. They're faced with rates which haven't been altered by the government, because the rates are basically half the rent. And even if landlords give them a 6-month rent-free period, a lot of companies won't survive even with that, because they've had no income and can anticipate none. If every landlord turned around to every tenant and said, I'm not helping you, and deferment of rent doesn't really work because it's just kicking the can down the road, then we will have 30% of Leicester Square empty. We haven't got any tourism coming in, and we're not likely to for the next 6 months. And therefore, the casino market, the upmarket restaurant market, in fact, every market is going to be affected. And therefore, I get on to the facts and figures that I see. I see that the office market will go down by 30% or thereabouts. What used to be £100 a square foot will end up being £70 a square foot. I see that there's going to be a massive demand for plug-and-play space, whereby landlords are going to have to fit space to plug and play, because tenants aren't going to want to pay the fit-out costs. And that works because the landlord's investment is 20 times, 25 times the uplift in rental value. So if the landlord spends £100,000, he's only got to get £4,000 a year extra rent in order to cover himself. And landlords and tenants need to work with each other on landlord's investment value versus tenants' expenditure. And the club, bar, restaurant market, the late night trade's been affected now not only by social distancing but also by the 10 o'clock curfew. I can't see people going out to dinner at 6 o'clock in the evening and finish at 10. And what happens when they can't go on anywhere at 10? Most people who go to restaurants in the evenings are either going to the theatre and want to go after the theatre, so the theatre would have to be earlier. The